How to break the plateau and elevate your TOEFL speaking score from 22 to 30. Hello, Lita, and welcome to the entire English Speaking Pro community. A common and frustrating hurdle for many TOEFL test takers is getting stuck in the 20-22 scoring range. This is known as a plateau. You're close to a great score, but not quite at the level required by top-tier universities, which often look for 25 or higher. Today, using detailed analysis from TOEFL expert Anastasia, who scored 119/120, we will break down the precise differences between a mid-range score and a perfect 30. This guide will provide you with the exact strategies you need to bridge that gap. Question 1. Independent speaking task. In this task, you are given a general topic and have just 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to speak. The difference between a 3/4 score, around 22 to 23 points, and a perfect 4/4 score, 30 points, is significant and lies in the development of your answer. Characteristics of a common 2022 point 3/4 response. Clear structure. The main idea is stated at the beginning and often repeated at the end. Good grammar and vocabulary. The phrases used are generally grammatically correct and sound natural. Use of cohesive devices. Words like but, so, and in my opinion are used effectively to link ideas. Intelligible delivery. The speech is clear and easy for the listener to understand. So, why does it score low? Limited development, the biggest problem. The response gives reasons but lacks concrete, specific examples or personal anecdotes to make the argument powerful. For instance, simply saying parents have more experience is weak. A story like, for example, my friend's parents helped her find a university with an excellent engineering program makes the point much more convincing. Trying to cover both sides. With only 45 seconds, discussing both the pros and cons of an issue is a trap. It prevents you from fully developing any single idea. The best strategy is to pick one side, even if it's not your true opinion, and defend it with depth. Repetition and filler words. Overusing words like their children or really reveals a limited vocabulary. Similarly, frequent use of fillers like you know or can signal a lack of confidence and fluency. How to achieve a perfect 30 point 4/4. State a direct and confident opinion. Begin your response with a strong, clear thesis statement that leaves no doubt about your position. Provide one reason supported by a detailed example. Instead of listing multiple weak reasons, focus on one strong reason and elaborate on it with a detailed personal story. TOEFL raters love personal examples because they showcase your ability to use language authentically. Use advanced and idiomatic vocabulary. Elevate your language with phrases like long-term factors, career opportunities, a balanced choice, or natural idioms like he ended up saving money. Demonstrate grammatical variety. A personal story is the perfect vehicle for showing off your grammatical range. You can naturally use different tenses, like his friends were going there, he is now extremely glad, his parents' involvement has allowed him, which demonstrates a higher command of English. Question 2. Integrated speaking, campus announcement. For this task, you read a short announcement, listen to a conversation between two students, and then summarize the announcement and one speaker's opinion, including their two supporting reasons. Weaknesses of a typical 20/22 point response. Lack of specific detail. This is the most common mistake. The response might correctly state the speaker's reasons, but fails to include the crucial details from the conversation that support those reasons. For instance, instead of just saying, "The device is hard to use," a top answer would specify why. The device itself is only 18 to 20 centimeters tall, making the screen and buttons tiny, which makes functions like highlighting or underlining difficult for students with average-sized fingers. The answer is too short. Because key details are omitted, the response often lasts only 25 to 30 seconds, whereas a high-scoring answer should utilize the full 45 to 60 seconds available. Minor language issues, repetitive vocabulary, example saying electronic books over and over, and slightly unnatural phrasing, example don't really help in studying, instead of the more academic, aren't effective for studying, can lower your score. Strategies for a perfect 30-point response. Follow a detailed structure. Start by summarizing the university's plan from the reading, including its 2 stated reasons. Then, state the speaker's opinion and elaborate on both of their reasons with as much specific detail from the conversation as possible. Connect the listening to the reading. Pro tip: the 2 reasons the speaker gives in the conversation are almost always direct responses to the 2 points made in the announcement. Structure your answer to reflect this. For instance, the announcement claims the ebooks will be cheaper, but the speaker disagrees. First, she argues they will actually be more expensive because use varied and precise vocabulary, avoid repetition, use synonyms like devices, e-readers, or gadgets. Deliver with smoothness and clarity. Practice speaking at a consistent, natural pace. Question 3. Integrated speaking, academic lecture. Here, you read a passage defining an academic concept, and then listen to a professor's lecture that provides a detailed example. Common flaws in a mid-range 3/4 response. Overly simplified language. The vocabulary and sentence structure are too basic. A response that says, "Insects work together to do something," is far less impressive than one that says, "Insects work collectively to accomplish tasks." Short, choppy sentences. The response describes the example as a list of separate actions rather than weaving them into a connected narrative with complex sentences. Flat, monotonic intonation. A lack of expression in your voice can negatively impact your delivery score. How to get the highest score, 4/4. Use Anastasia's 3-step summary strategy. Introduce the context: who, where, and when. Example, the professor gives an example of ants, which live in large colonies and move together to find food. Explain the process. Details: what happens and how does it happen. Example, when they encounter a gap between branches, one ant holds on with its back legs and stretches its body forward, and the other ants walk across it and do the same. State the final outcome. What is the result? Example, by repeating this process, the ants form a living bridge, which allows the rest of the colony to cross and reach the food source. Focus on the most essential information. You don't have time to include every minor detail. Use the 3-step strategy to select and organize the most important points. Use academic language. Incorporate stronger vocabulary like accomplish tasks, cooperate, demonstrate, and collectively. Question 4. Integrated speaking, academic lecture only. In the final task, you listen to a lecture where a professor explains a topic, usually with 2 examples or 2 subpoints. Why a response might score 20/22. Missing key details. The summary is too general and omits specific illustrative details from the examples. For instance, mentioning the Romans built strong bridges is not enough. A top answer would add that they were strong enough to transport equipment and materials using wagons and carts. Basic vocabulary. The language is simple and lacks academic precision. Wasted time and hesitation. Starting with a long, rambling intro like, "In the lecture, the professor talks about," wastes precious seconds. Frequent pauses and fillers, make the response sound unprepared. Blueprint for a 30-point response. Deliver a comprehensive summary. Start directly with the main topic. For instance, the lecture is about 2 key developments that allowed Roman cities to expand. Then, fully explain the first development with all its key details, followed by the second development and its details. Use advanced and precise language. Use words and phrases like specifically, this innovation made it possible, as a consequence, and urban areas to show a higher command of English. Be fluent and coherent. Your response should flow like a well-organized mini-lecture. Practice organizing your notes quickly to deliver a smooth, confident summary. Final key takeaways for English Speaking Pro. Examples are everything. For every question, but especially question 1, a detailed, specific example is the single most powerful tool to elevate your score. Structure is your best friend. Use a consistent template for each question type. This will save you